Exercise 2-33-2 is going to present us with a lot of additional information. And what we want to make sure that we do on this one is that we start it off correctly so that we get the correct result. So again, I'm going to go to File, New, give it a name, and then this one here, I'm going to start on the right plane because I'm going to draw the L shape that creates it. So I'll go ahead and click Sketch, and I'll go to my line command, and again I'm going to draw that L shape. Now if I know that my grid is set up at 30, I know that right around here is approximately 5. Actually it'd probably be closer to here, being around 5, so I can actually start my sketch right there and go ahead and put in this rough L shape. If I do that, there's a chance that I may not have to scale it when I click on dimension. So you can see that this is now at 4.79 as opposed to the 190 that I was getting before. So I can just double click and change this to 5.375. And we'll change this one down here to 5.375. This distance across the top is 1.25. And then I need to put in a dimension for this other segment, which is 1.75 minus 0.375. So at this point you might want to break out a calculator or something else so that you can get the actual distance off of that. So let me go ahead and put this in. Yeah, 1.75 minus 0.375. Okay, so there's our 1.375. Now, I'm done with this particular sketch, but I've got a lot more work to do on here. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this piece now. And the total extrusion for this one is 5. So we'll click 5, and I'll hit the checkbox. Now I've got several different things that I need to do. I need to put a hole on this face, and I need to put a cutout on this face, and two things need to happen on this face, which are those two little extrusions that come up. So I'm just going to start on this face right here and do a sketch. And again, I'm going to skew this a little bit so that you can see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to go to my circle and put in the circle. Now, to dimension this particular object, it's giving me from the very, very bottom. And I don't know how much it is from the very bottom, but I know that the whole height is 5.375 and it's 2 down from the top. So effectively speaking, I could make this 3.375. This distance is going to be 2.5. And its diameter is 2. Once I have that, I can finish the sketch, go to extrude, and again, I want this to go through everything, flipped in the other direction, and remove the material. Now I can hit the checkbox and I've got that first hole. Now I'll go ahead and do the same thing on here for that other small cutout. I have an axis here, so I don't actually have to use the use command. I can just go ahead and draw a rectangle that's going to represent that cutout. Once I have that rectangle in place, I can go ahead and modify the dimensions that I'm given. This should become 1. The total width of this is going to be 3. And the total height of it is 0.125. Okay, so there's all the information that I needed for that profile. So I'll finish that sketch, and now I'll go to extrude. Again, through all, other way, remove material. Hit the green checkbox. I now have the groove that goes the whole way through there. Do my sketch on the top plane. And again, I'm going to skew this so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Over here I have axes. Over here I have an axis. Over here I only have this one along the bottom. So when I do my rectangle here, I can do it right from the origin without actually worrying about anything. Over here, I have nothing to use as a reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the use command a little bit differently than I have previously. I'm going to click on use, and I'm going to select this edge. But right after I select that edge, I'm going to go ahead and use the delete segment command and just delete that whole segment. And if you notice, I'm left with an axis right here that I can use. So now I'll go back to rectangle, and I'll draw in a rectangle over here. Now, I accidentally put an equal constraint on the length of that, and I'm not 100% sure whether it's equal or not. So now I can go to my dimension tool, and from right here, back at this edge, to right here, it's calling this out as 3. Now, I don't actually have anything back here that I can use, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this button right here to create an axis right there that I can use. Now I can go back to my dimension tool. And I want a dimension from here to this face. And that dimension is going to be 3. And I need the same dimension over here of 3. The distance in between these two is 2.5. So now we have the distance from this edge on both of them, and we have the distance between the two. The only thing that we don't have at this current moment is the fact that these two segments are actually equal. So what I need to do now is I need to set this up so that these are both equal. Okay, so in making these two segments equal, what I need to first do is I need to find the constraints over here, and the one that's displayed is the vertical. When I click the little arrow next to vertical, it shows me all the constraints, this one here being equal. So I'm going to select this constraint, and I'm going to pick this line, and that's now going to make those equal, and it puts a whole bunch of additional constraints on here to lock my sketch into place. So now I can finish my sketch, and I can go to extrude. And the extrusion height that I want to use in this case is 0.375. This time I don't need to do anything additional. I can just do these particular steps and hit the green checkbox. Once I've got that complete, this object is done. I can then go to save and click OK to save my part.